Well, a quarter of this country's homeless population lives in California, and boy, is it obvious when you go there. The homeless have taken over entire swaths of Los Angeles and San Francisco and the big cities in the state. The president commented on the crisis recently. Governor Gavin Newsom of California responded by telling him to butt out.
Look, stay out of our way. Let California continue not to survive, but thrive, despite the headwinds, despite everything you're doing to try to put sand in the gears of our success. So he's got to find the areas where we're not performing. And that's the issue of poverty, affordability, and homelessness, and exploit those as a way of tearing down a new governing philosophy.
A new governing philosophy. How's that working for you? Newsom is certainly confident. His citizens are not so lucky they have to live with his policies. Gil Desaunier is a business owner in the city of San Francisco. He says he's thinking of abandoning San Francisco after he was bitten twice by vagrants. He joins us tonight. Gil, thanks very much for coming on. It's hard to believe this is even real. This is like a Dawn of the Dead scene. Yeah. You were bitten. Tell us the circumstances.
Well, the last event, it was a guy who came in and we asked him to leave, and he left, and he came back 15 minutes later to harass the employee, and he hit somebody, and it got really violent. Some of the staff subdued him, and we tried to call the police to have them intervene and arrest him. And in the process, he decided to bite me. And one of the statements he made was, "Why even calling the police? They're not going to do anything. They're just going to let me go." And so I said, "No, this time I'm going to place you under citizen's arrest, and I'm going to wait for the police to arrive." And he was taken away. And it happened 4 months before as well. A woman came in who was drugged out, who wasn't making any sense. We just wanted her to exit the store, and she just grabbed my arm and bit on it and dropped her weight. And I was finally able to free my arm, and I took her out of the store, and I forgot about it. But the second time...
Wait, so she was hanging on your arm by her teeth?
Yes, yeah.
That's horrifying.
Yeah,
I mean,
she was not there in her mind, you know.
Were you worried about getting sick?
Well, I had a sweater over it, so, you know, I looked at it right away and I put hydrogen peroxide and kind of took care of it. She didn't break my skin through my clothing, so I figured it was okay. I feel okay. It's been several months now for that first one. The second one, there's some muscle damage, tissue inside from his teeth, because a bite is very, very strong, you know.
It's hard to believe this is America. So you have a store. Do you have public bathrooms in your store?
Yes, and they're often used by a lot of the drugged homeless people. They do drugs in the bathrooms. They sell drugs in the bathrooms. I found a woman in there with a needle in her leg, passed out, turning blue. I had to stop what I was doing and call 911 and call the police, and you know, that occupies your time, and this basically happens about every 15-20 minutes. Somebody from the street who's drugged out will come in the store and create havoc, you know.
You've got a homeless encampment outside?
Yeah, around the building, on the Natoma Street and on Minna Street. I actually live a block away, and I see Minna Street with tents occupying the sidewalks where people have to go out into the street to walk by because they're occupying the sidewalk. They do all kinds of stuff on that street. They make noise in the middle of the night.
I'm so embarrassed for our country hearing this. I'm horrified by this. Sum it up for us, if you would. Are you going to stay in the city, do you think?
Well, you know, I think the city needs to have a dialogue of some form with the community and bring it to a public forum, either with TV stations locally, and really talk about how we can address the issue and really make it work. I mean, the drug epidemic there's needles everywhere. You know, my nephew's son was staying with me recently, and they were playing Frisbee outside, and he said to his son, "Can you watch out for the needles?" You know, that's a really strange thing to say to a 10-year-old.
It's horrifying. It's horrifying. Gil, thank you for that firsthand report from what was the prettiest city in our country.